Adventure is
Dude, it's
calling.
snowing!
Into the cold, more than live dreams. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well today. My name is David Bozard and you are watching Bozard's in Alaska channel. Thank you for all my new subscribers recently. For whatever reason, I just have a lot of people joining recently, and I appreciate you subscribing and all your positive comments and everything. But if you can't tell by our name, we live in Alaska, and specifically Eagle River, Alaska. And we actually moved here in April of this year, of 2018, and we love it. We fell in love when we visited Alaska, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we wanted to make it a permanent thing. We kept coming back and hated every time we had to leave. But for whatever reason, a lot of people have been asking, what kind of winter gear do I have in my truck? So I have a Toyota Tacoma, and I kind of have a bag of different type of winter things. I'm just going to cover the winter things. Probably won't go over the things I have year-round, like a fix-a-flat, something like that, or a first aid kit, anything like that I keep year-round. I'm just going to try to focus on the winter things. So this right here is exactly what it looks like. It is a shower curtain. Some people may use a tarp, but this is kind of for the nasty muddy snow. If you ever have to kind of get under your truck, or climb underneath to fix something underneath the truck or get something out of the way, it'd be a whole lot better to lay this down, crawl on top of it, than to have to get back in your vehicle when you're all nasty and muddy and icy. So that's what this is for. Hopefully I'll never have to use it, because having a Toyota Tacoma, that's one thing that you can really trust in, because these are just great vehicles, knock on wood. So let's get in here. So I've got some blankets, extra blankets. I do have a wife and daughter, so plenty of blankets in here for us to stay warm. I've got some, a hat, just kind of this old surplus army hat, not in the military, but actually a friend gave me this. Some extra gloves, and again another hat for my daughter. I've got a snow shovel. It's nice because it folds up really easily and fits in here real nicely. I've got some ear muffs. These things go around your head. Just kind of stuff to really keep you warm, just in case you need it. These are road flares. Thankfully I haven't had to use them yet, but I've heard awesome things. But these little guys, they're fully battery powered, so I have a bunch of extra batteries. And I don't store the batteries in here. Don't recommend that because they can corrode. But what's really nice about these is they're magnetic. So these things you can stick to the side of your truck or your car, and they have these little stands as well. You can put them on the stand and stick them up around your vehicle on the side of the road. But one thing, if you live in an environment that has a lot of snow, it's so easy for things to just blend in. And especially I have like a silver, I think it's a silver sky colored truck. It's not like a bright red or bright blue that you can easily see in the snow. So that's another thing. But if I ever was on the side of the road or helping get somebody out of a ditch or anything like that, these will really come in handy. Being battery powered, LED, they're really, really bright. I won't turn those on right now. But hopefully I'll never need these things. This is what's called a little bivy sack. It's an emergency sack. It's kind of like a sleeping bag. It has a whistle on it. It's waterproof, it's windproof, and it's so tiny. I mean, you can see how small this is. It's a very small thing, and it fits in really nicely. And it's kind of got reflectors on it. You could probably fit 2 people in here. So I have a couple of these, and I've just heard really great things about this. Toe strap. I do carry this all year. I know I said I wouldn't go through an all-year type kit, a summer kit, but never can have too many toe straps, especially in Alaska. Hopefully I'm never in a ditch, but if I ever see somebody else that needs help, I'll have this to be able to attach on the hooks on the front of my truck to get somebody out. Some insulated jumper cables. Jumper cables are super important, especially in this cold environment. If you leave your car outside when it can get super cold. In Eagle River here, it doesn't get too cold. I mean, it's gotten, I think, -20. But I'm not in the interior in Fairbanks where it can get bone chilling, -50, -60 degrees. But I think these are actually good till -40, so I should be covered on that. But jumper cables, pretty self-explanatory. again, gloves. This little guy right here, this is actually like a hand crank light and a radio. Not like a walkie-talkie radio, like a FM, AM radio. And it's not battery powered, like I said, it's hand crank, so I don't have to rely on batteries. I can just crank it to get some energy into it in case I need a light or to be able to hear the weather on the radio or anything like that. Let's see, what else? What else? That's it for in here. Of course, having a cell phone, super important. I also tend to always bring my iPad with me. I have an iPhone and an iPad. My iPad is actually cell connected as well. It's an LTE connection. So if for whatever reason this dies, I also have my iPad on me. And I also carry a battery backup. It's actually more than a battery backup. I'll show you that here too. So this isn't necessarily an emergency kit, but this always comes in handy, you know, if you ever have ice or snow, to be able to scrape it off, especially if you get it on the top of your vehicle. You know, nobody wants to be riding behind somebody that gets a bunch of snow in their car that doesn't brush it off and it flies off and, you know, hits their car and can cause issues. But the battery backup I was talking about, and there's that first aid kit, said I wouldn't really need to go through. This is a fire starter. So super important here in the cold in Alaska. It's got a little compass on it. Can't really focus on that for whatever reason. But it's to be able to make a fire if I need to. Works really well. This is to like a compressor to be able to plug in and fill air in my tires. I also have the fix-a-flat stuff, but this is a normal compressor. But this battery thing is super awesome. Whoa. Let's put that down here. It's heavy. So this thing I've actually used, never needed to start a vehicle, but to be able to go camping. So this little guy is a 2000 amp 12 volt, and you can see these jumper cables on either side. So this is more than enough for my truck. I believe it is actually rated to be able to do a 8-liter and also diesel engines. So heavy duty. You can turn it on, you can see it shows the battery percentage. One important thing about batteries in the cold, if you didn't know, they die a lot faster. So I actually set reminders kind of in my calendar to be able to recharge this every so often, 30 days, 45 days, give or take. I come out here and check what the battery percentage is. So it's at 100 right now, and it just plugs in with a USB into the wall outlet, but want to make sure that is always charged in case I ever need it. It also has, let's turn that back on, and it has a super bright LED light. You can strobe it kind of like an SOS, but that's really cool to be able to use out here when it's super dark in Alaska. You know, Alaska, the sun in winter solstice can go down 4 o'clock in the afternoon and not come back up until 10 a.m. in the mornings. And even when it comes out, it can be super dark. So these LED lights come super in handy. So coming over to this side, got a few more things in storage back here. I love the storage in this truck, by the way. But back here is mostly clothes. So I've got like a zip up jacket. I've got kind of waterproof pants. This was given from a friend that was in the military. I've got kind of a thermal top. This would be like a gaiter. It goes around your neck, and it can either stay around your neck, keep your neck warm, or you can pull it up over your face and over your mouth and eyes if you really wanted to stay warm. I got a couple of pairs of socks and more gloves. So I always have gloves and a hat with me, and jacket obviously, but this is just extra just in case we get stuck out somewhere or I have extra people in the car or what have you. Another thing that I always keep on me is a pocket knife. That was before Alaska. I always keep a pocket knife in case I need it, you know, to cut things open, or in a worst case scenario if I need it to defend myself. And another thing that I purchased when I moved up here that I highly recommend, and again, I will leave links down below for everything that I can as much as possible, but I love this little light. I've reviewed this one time in another one of my videos, but it's called a SR Baton light, and it's by Olight. And you see how tiny this thing is? Let me show you my cell phone compared to this. So here's this light, and here's my phone. It's super small. So this is the iPhone XS Max, and this light is so tiny, and it's got a little clip. It can clip on to my pocket, super easy. or on my shirt or anything like that. But it is super bright. It's 900 lumens, which is really bright for this tiny thing. And it also charges magnetically. I charge this every week and a half or so, depending on how much I use it. But it charges super quick. And you can do different strobe things, different, I think you can do 400 lumens, 600 lumens, and up to 900 lumens if you need it, and SOS, things like that. But having this has been so useful here in Alaska, being dark so often. Even just going to your vehicle and trying to fumble for your keys if you're at the grocery store or something like that and it's not a well-lit area, or my dog being outside going to the bathroom. I do my very best to pick up her stuff during the winter time, because I really just don't want to deal with it during the spring, muddy, nasty. I won't go there, but this comes really handy out there. But highly recommend this. It's an awesome light. So like I mentioned before, I have the Toyota Tacoma Trd off-road version, so it is 4x4, as you can see. I also have winter tires, and you can see that these are studded tires. So winter tires are super important up here. Some people will try to rock the all-season ones, but kind of struggle a lot of the winter. But these winter tires are studded, and they're the Nokian Tacoma, I can't even pronounce that. It's some super long word, but Nokian. This is kind of top of the line winter tire. Everything I read and researched, these are amazing tires, and I've loved them so far. But personal preference for studded versus studless. A lot of people up here will actually get what's called a Blizik tire, and those are studless. The way these tires work is the tread is a lot wider and a lot open, and you can kind of see the snow, ice staying in there. Snow on snow, ice, snow on ice has a little bit better traction than just straight rubber. And having these studs to be able to, when you ride over, this rubber is a whole lot softer than a normal tire. And so what happens is this rubber smushes down, compresses, and the stud is able to grip onto the ice. So these obviously really have no use on snow, but when you have ice, they are super, super handy. But I've loved these tires. I got an amazing deal on Facebook, of all places, for brand new ones of these. But having these studded tires and a 4x4 truck, I really haven't had a need for anything like change or anything like that. So as you can see, like I talked about, it's 4-wheel drive. I got 4-wheel high and 4-wheel low and 2-wheel drive, little dial right here. The other thing I love about this model, and this is the 2018 version, is it has a rear locker, rear div locker on the back, an electronic one, and then it also has crawl control. So that would be super handy in really sticky situations, in mud and sand and snow. I haven't had to use this yet, thankfully, having the 4-wheel drive 4x4, but having this rear div locker and the crawl control can be super handy up here in Alaska. Please excuse my nasty floor mats, but this is another thing that is a must up here. So these are weathered floor mats to be able to really help catch the snow, and they're laser cut and all that, so they're supposed to fit perfectly, and they do well. And they have these kind of lips on either side to be able to keep everything in, and then you can just kind of unscrew these things, take it out, clean it a whole lot easier, and then it really helps you protect your carpet and your normal kind of mats and rugs. I feel like all vehicles should come with these nowadays, just for any type of environment, but I love these things. I got these on Amazon. Again, I'll leave links down below, but these are awesome in this type of environment. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. Let me know down below if there's anything that you keep in your winter kit in your car or in your truck that I don't have, and maybe it's something I can add that I wasn't thinking of. One last thing that I do, and it's a lot of people here in Alaska do, it's a really good practice to continue to refill your gas tank when you get to half a tank. Don't let it go below half a tank, because you never know if you're going to get stuck in a ditch, get stuck in a blizzard, and be able to sit there and idle with your truck on or your car on to keep the heater on. So it's a really good practice to not stay below half a tank. And I do actually keep extra gas in the truck in an extra container, kind of a 2-gallon thing. But hope you guys enjoyed. Again, leave a comment down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a good one, guys. Bye.